And we're on. Okay. Hey guys, Lucas Green here, and it's time to do the ranking for my episodes. Was it episodes first? I think it was episodes first. It is. There it is, episodes. Right, so here we are, guys, for the ranking of the Scooby Doo episodes from What's New Scooby Doo Series 1. Adam has already uploaded his videos. It's now finally time to do mine. So without further hesitation or ado, let's get to it. Right. Now, before I start things off, I do want to say real quick, if you've seen Adam's video, when I get to do, the culprits one, that's different from how Adam ranks it. Everything else is pretty much the same. Anyway, for this one, let's go for it. Number 14 spot, because there's 14 spots on this list, if you're wondering. Number 14 is, of course, the African episode. Again, it's a pretty bad episode. I think it is at the bottom of Adam's. I did watch his videos, but it's been a while, so I'm pretty sure it's at the bottom for him, especially for his personal own reason. It was pretty bland. The villains were, I wouldn't say obvious. I mean, you had a few suspects, but it was still a cruel act to do. I mean, then as for the whole mystery itself, well, the mystery was mediocre at best. It felt like a slow walk. That's what it basically felt like. You just move on to point A to point B, and then it went on. Even the chase sequence felt like kind of had this dry feeling to it, and that's what I feel like dragged it down a bit. Along with the culprits being kind of cruel, so that's probably why it's there. Number 13 is the Gladiator episode. Again, I don't really know the episode titles for every one of them. I know Adam sent me a list, but I don't really bother with it. But yeah. We've got number 13 is the Gladiator episode. I was actually wondering if I would switch these two around, because the Gladiator... Well, actually, no. I was actually thinking of a different ranking. But whatever. Because, like... Oh, hell with it. Since I've given it away, what the hell. I was thinking of... When I do my ranking on the culprits, I may switch these two, because one is worse than the other, in my opinion. That's just me. But as for the episode itself, the Gladiator episode, it's a mediocre one at best, like the African one. Again, the gang goes from point A to point B. I mean, at a bit of pace here, because you have more interesting characters with the captain and some of the Italian stereotypes. It's a bit better, but not by much. Number 12 spot is the Faceless Phantom episode. No surprise there. I mean, it's a bad episode. Take a look at this. Yeah, a bad episode. But overall... it's still got a bit of charm into it. That's what I think holds it up above others. So, it's pretty okay, from what it's worth. I mean, you have a bit of a... I mean, it's bad, but I think the episode is aware it's bad, so that's what makes it good, in a way. Next up is the Toys episode. Again, another mediocre one, I guess. It's a bit higher, because watching sentient things coming like that aren't supposed to is a bit unnatural, so has that going for it. And it does do a few things different that you don't expect. Like they normally do the cliche, they catch the culprit, but this time they have like a red herring that throws it off, and so there's a bit more to it than meets the eye as it goes. Number 10 spot is the Mystery Machine. Again, What's New Scooby Doo does like doing its what's the thing I'm looking for? New ideas for monsters and of course one of them is the Mystery Machine. Probably the best idea we had for like a sentient vehicle that's going crazy on the gang. Has a unique aspect to it, and it is pretty enjoyable. As for the episode itself, stalking them like that, but as the episode on its own, like, when you think about it, it's like, they go to one spot, and they go to another. It, like I said, the previous ones, only it's like, a bit more fleshed in. I feel like what's going on there, it kind of draws out as the more and more you progress, the more and more it becomes apparent what's going on here. Moving on, number 9 is the Ice Creature episode. This one's pretty fun. It's according to Adam, it's the first one he was ever watched. For me, it's the second. It's a good one. I call this episode the Ice Creature episode, even though it's like no creature, like the snow creature or something like that. And I don't even call the monster the snow creature. I call it the ice creature because it's made of ice. They even established it's got like the parts and stuff. But yeah, it's a fun episode with a good chase sequence, pretty bearable characters, funny moments throughout, and a good chase sequence. Overall, I think it's a fun episode. So I think we're into the fun category at this point. Number 8 is the Leland Brothers episode. Great one there. I mean, it's a classic type of episode where you have undead zombies going around and they're up to no good. The gang is slowly it's got that slow drive vibe to it, which is again fitting for series 1, but it's still okay because it kind of fits with the whole mood of the episode with the gloomy atmosphere. I feel like it's still a good ride because you have like an interesting a nostalgic pair of villains, and you have a great chase sequence out of it, and overall the gang seems very reserved from how they normally are, which is pretty good for new viewers. So yeah, as for a new viewing episode, I would say the Leon Brothers is a good start one. Number 7 is Motu Shandu's episode. I've never seen that episode, but I have remembered bits and pieces of it. But going back to it, I can see why it was placed there. It's got like a fun vibe to it. It's kind of like the like a shortened version of the Hawaii movie from Scooby Doo. So it's not got the same presentation as that, but it's still got a fun beat to it that makes it interesting. Number 6 is Rufus Rockets' episode, which is Rio Las Vegas, I believe it's called. Another fun episode. This was where they were starting to go into the trend of getting celebrities in their episodes, which is not the best of things, but it's still new. Which is, well, to be fair, they did that back in the very old days, but it's nice to bring an element back from the past. As for the episode itself, it's pretty obvious on the mystery, but overall, I still find enjoyment for what the characters are. Because we have a good group of characters on the side role, like Mr. Stone. He's pretty unaware. Mr. Wacky Pants is someone you like to hate. And Validia, well, she's got her issues. And of course, Rufus himself. It's nice and that's a nice trend. Like, normally when you have Rufus, this type of character, they normally would be killed off in order for the monster to work. But in this one, they keep him around, which is an interesting twist. So that's pretty cool. Overall, it's a fun ride, I would say. Number 5 is the Snowman episode. The Headless Snowman. I always find this episode a fun blast to watch. I mean, it's got its problems, like Adam has mentioned, but I find a bit of enjoyment throughout. I mean, Adam doesn't like how it walks. It's funny how it walks. I mean, as for the history itself, it's it wasn't obvious, I'll tell you that much. But it had its issues, but it's still, I find enjoyment through it. It's got that bit of festive charm that holds it together. Number 4 is the Baseball Spectre episode. The Unnaturals, I believe it's called. Again, a great one. I'm going to say more on the Baseball Spectre when I get to the monsters, but overall this episode is a fun ride. It does have that point A to point B formula, as all Scooby episodes do, but it feels like it's more paying attention more to its clues, which I kind of didn't. Moving on to episode 3, for me, my number 3 spot is Space Ape at the Cape. This is like the first episode that's introduced to Scooby-Doo, so personal reason why it's so high. But again, I do put it on a bit higher, because it takes it a bit more seriously compared to other episodes, which we'll get into the next one. So that's why I put it. The last 3 are like put on higher because they take their matter a bit more seriously, and I do appreciate that. So, and as for the first episode, it's a good one at stand. You know, seeing how the gang progress nicely. I mean, you never feel overwhelmed with the first episode for a new viewer, and I really do appreciate it. So that's pretty good. Moving on there, we've got my second spot, to no one's surprise probably, is 3D Destruction, the dinosaur episode. This again takes itself pretty seriously. It's a callback to Jurassic Park movies and stuff like that media. With the whole Costa Rican setting vibe and your archaeologists there and the dinosaur bones, all that vibe there. So it's got a good atmosphere to it. The monster is iconic, of course, being a Gigantosaurus, a dinosaur, obviously. The suspect the suspects all. I do like the fact that all the suspects take it seriously. I think a good scene that shows this is when the dinosaur attacks for the first time? Well, not the first time, well, second time, I guess, because that was the intro, but like after it attacks the museum, all the side characters take it very seriously, and like, for example, Senor Superba comes and begs them, and then like, what's his name? Come on, it's not coming to me. Dr. Gutierrez? Respects his decision to where the bone should stay in his museum. But of course we get that cliche line of "greater disaster shall befall you." I mean, but it was delivered really well, and when Melbourne shows up, it was handled really well. So Senor Superba, very good, especially on his role in the episode. Very good at what he's doing. So overall, I think that the episode is well handled. You got fun with Melbourne O'Reilly in there. That awesome chase sequence in the mine. I know Adam doesn't like the song, but the visuals do hold up. and I think it's a great ride. And when you get to the end, and it's pretty, I do like it's a different way of how the gang figures out what's going on. Instead of like, oh, masking the bad guy, they just find the pieces and put them together themselves and outsmart the culprits, which is pretty cool. Now, of course, number one is, of course, the roller coaster episode. There is no surprise here for me at all. I mean, overall, it's got everything I like in an episode. The main characters, okay, I would say the weakest point is the main cast of this because it's still early series, but with that aside, you still have a great villain. You have a lovely, good side characters, a great chase sequences that has connection to the culprit, which I did tell him about, which helped him. I think that helped him boost it up higher on one of his lists. And funny jokes with the kid called Eddie apparently. So overall, you had side characters were good, funny comic relief, great, one of the more interesting villains, and a good chase sequence. That's 4 points. And as for the story, it's well handled. So I'd have no issues with this episode. I mean, if there is an issue, I can't really think of it right now because it's just that good to me. Overall, guys, that's been my episode ranking of the Series 1 of Scooby-Doo. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe to the good stuff, hit the notification bell right in the corner down below. So you can stay in tune with all videos on the Adam Ferns Archive channel and various other content that is there. I will be doing the other 3 remaining rankings as I go. Next up will be, let's take a look. That one was there. Next up is the Monsters one, then the Culprits, and wrapping up with the chase sequences. So stay tuned for those rankings, and I'll see you in a bit. Peace.